Sometimes you want to be an expert, but then you become unprofessional.
Round one.
Welcome back, fight fans. I am JMC. You are now tuned into the Unprofessional Expert. Go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, share, tell a friend, to tell an aunt, to tell a grandparent, to go over it with their cousin. Because if you do not, me and my children will fight you in real life. Go ahead, check us out on socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or any podcast station that you like. Just search the Unprofessional Expert Podcast and get tuned in. Today's episode will begin with words of encouragement. Please take just a moment to hear from Bishop Knockout from the United Church of Throwing Hands. You're welcome.
Limitations? There are no such thing as limitations. The only thing holding you back is yourself. Your own views of what is and what is not possible. Your own standards of the greatness you want to achieve. Your desire to sacrifice more than your competition. Your belief in yourself.
It might be hard, but it is much harder living a life less than your expectations.
Do you think you have what it takes to achieve greatness? Do you have what it takes to push yourself to another level? To push yourself to your peak every single day? You do. I know it, you know it, the world knows it. You just have to decide to be better, decide to have greater standards in all areas of your life. Get up early, stay up later. You did not wake up this morning to be mediocre.
Believe in yourself. Show your true courage. Show your true heart. You can do this.
Get it done. There are no more excuses. Excuses don't live here no more. Excuses aren't invited to this party. Excuses are a virus. Get them out of your life.
If you believe anything is possible, guess what? Anything is possible.
Thank you, Bishop, for those words. In breaking news in the world of boxing, the undisputed heavyweight clash between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk was postponed due to injury. Tyson Fury did attain a nasty gash during sparring. And after looking at that footage, it does look as if he will most likely require stitches. So it will be some time before that fight actually takes place. So hopefully Fury gets back healthy soon, so then we can have that historical undisputed heavyweight matchup. And they did go ahead and give us the rescheduled date of Saturday, May 18th. Now, this card was ultimately scrapped altogether instead of them getting a new opponent for Usyk. I do believe that they should have went and tried for that Daniel Dubois rematch, since that first fight had a very, very controversial low blow call, in which I do believe was inaccurate. And if you ask me, Daniel Dubois should have been champion of the world. So with that entire fight card getting scrapped, we no longer have the rematch of Jai Opetaia and Maurice Brady for that cruiserweight IBF and Ring Magazine Championship. So that will be postponed as well. This card was also set to feature the return of the Russian veteran Sergey Kovalev. So it looks like his ring return will also be postponed. So we'll see if he ends up on that May 18th undercard of the Fury Usyk clash. I do have some sad news to deliver from the world of boxing. Carl Weathers, a football player turned influential actor, has passed away. You may have known him as the Apollo Creed from the Rocky movies. R.I.P. to Carl Weathers, prayers out to his family. And I do also have a clip of the Sylvester Stallone speaking on the passing of a great man.
Today is an incredibly sad day for me. I mean, I'm so torn up, I can't even tell you. I'm just trying to hold it in because Carl Weathers was such an integral part of my life, my success, everything about it. I give him incredible credit and kudos, because when he walked into that room and I saw him for the first time, I saw greatness, but I didn't realize how great. I never could have accomplished what we did with Rocky without him. He was absolutely brilliant. His voice, his size, his power, his athletic ability, but more importantly, his heart, his soul. It's a horrible loss. And I'm standing here in front of this painting because it was probably the last moment we were ever in the ring together, and I'll never forget it. He was magic. And I was so fortunate to be part of his life. So, Apollo, keep punching.
On the last episode, I did go ahead and drop the names of a couple of legends that are on the 20 greatest fighters of all time list. And just to continue with that trend, I'll give a couple of more names that are on that roster. But be sure to go ahead and head over to socials to check out the entire list for yourself. This is very important because without these lists, without these rankings, that makes less things to argue about, and who wants that? We do have to keep these heated discussions going. So, at number 2, the GOAT. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Number 2 is Muhammad Ali. All right, so let's move down to 6. A current great and someone who is currently putting on exhibition matches and things of that nature. We do have Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, or you can say Floyd Money Mayweather, whichever nickname works better for you. Skipping down to number 8, we have Marvelous Marvin Hagler, one of the Four Kings, one of the greatest eras of boxing. I would say potentially the golden era of boxing. A personal favorite for me. Number 8, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And coming in at 18, Saul Canelo Alvarez. A Mexican great. He is important to boxing, especially right now. And there are rumors of him fighting Terrence Bud Crawford at the end of this year. Really important matchup there. Go ahead and give your thoughts, your opinions. What do you think about Bud versus Canelo? I'm very interested to see what the people think. Just a couple of boxing greats there. The full list, the 20-man roster, is located on socials. Pick whichever social you like. You'll be able to locate that list. Go ahead and check it out. Feel free to leave thoughts and opinions. Let's debate. Let's talk. Let's continue to have this conversation. It is now time for a fight recap. We did have a matchup in the welterweight division. It was actually a catchweight, but he is repping for the welterweight division. Son of a legend, Benn did fight against Peter Dobson. Good fight for Benn. They're building him up, Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. They want him to be the next big thing in the welterweight division. They've thrown out names of big-time opponents that they would like for him to fight. Devin Haney, Barrios, Crawford. They pretty much named anybody that they can think of. And so last night was a coming out party for him. He is from the UK, but he fought in Las Vegas. He was able to headline that event. Peter Dobson. I do feel as if he is stylistically flawed. The way that he utilized the shoulder roll, I just didn't like it. It's not athletic. He had really slow hand speed. And in my opinion, to shoulder roll effectively, you need to be able to move your head offline to duck those right hands. And he just wasn't doing that. He was wide open for those right hands from Benn, especially those overhands. Benn was able to land those effectively the entire matchup. Now, he had an iron chin because he didn't get hurt, even though he was eating right hands the way that he was. But he really didn't utilize that shoulder roll the way that you are supposed to. He was better off just putting his hands up. I'm not a big fan of the shoulder roll, especially if you're flat-footed. It just doesn't look too good. Now, there are people who can do it, and they don't have to be super athletic, but it just doesn't look all that great. So if you are wanting a picture, a breakdown of how to shoulder roll as ineffectively as possible, then you'll need a picture of Peter Dobson. He can show you just how to do that. But Conor Benn looked good. He came forward. He was aggressive. He threw his punches. I do think he needs to pace himself a little bit. He talks about jumping right into action, trying to hurt his opponent, knock him out in the first round. Once you get to the elite fighters, you're just not able to bum rush everybody. You can't bulldoze everybody. There are people who can shoulder roll a lot better than Peter Dobson can. So Conor Benn is good. He looked really good in this matchup. Definitely needs to pace himself for sure. Take his time, work off his jab, get some combinations going, and then try for the knockout as it happens. Let it come during the fight for him executing a proper game plan. So that is my opinion on Dobson and Conor Benn. Good fight. Hopefully Conor Benn gets a good matchup here in the spring. He's talking about jumping right back into action. So we'll see what happens with that. In not so breaking news, there have been rumors online of the potential return of the Filipino legend, Manny Pacquiao. Not sure how I feel about that, but interesting. He did name 3 potential suitors for his comeback fight. Those 3 guys would be Conor McGregor, Tank Davis, and Ryan Garcia. I absolutely do not want to see the Conor McGregor fight. I am ready for the crossover boxing MMA exhibition style fights to end, but the Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia options would be very interesting. I do think that Tank would win that fight, and I do think that Pacquiao would absolutely destroy Ryan Garcia, so that would be a good way to end his career. Interesting to see if he does make that return and who he does get in the ring with for his potentially final dance partner. Manny Pacquiao, a legend to the sport. Hopefully he doesn't ruin his legacy with like a brutal knockout or something like that. But let's see what happens there. Manny Pacquiao is a crowd-pleasing fighter, and so whenever he steps into the ring, it is a spectacle. So hopefully Pac-Man comes back, and if he does his thing. And I will be the very first person lined up to watch that fight. All right, something that I do want to introduce to you, the listeners, something that I want for you ladies and gentlemen to do. If you listen, you do hear that I mention in the beginning and at the end of each episode that if you do not like, follow, or subscribe, that I will fight you in real life. So I want you guys to use that and take it to the comment section wherever you are listening. Use the hashtag in real life or IRL, and I will respond to those comments, whatever it is that you have to say. If you use that hashtag, I'll make sure to give that a shout out and I'll respond to that, whatever it is that you have to say to me. Spell it out, or IRL, in real life. For example, if you're wondering why I have Sugar Ray Leonard as number 1 on my top 20 fighters of all time, leave a comment. Hey, no way Sugar Ray can be number 1. Hashtag in real life. Let's talk about it. Hashtag in real life. That is all, folks, and we are going to end today's episode with the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is, no pain, no gain, no sacrifice, no success. You do have to go through the fire to become forged steel. I am JMC. You are now tuned into the Unprofessional Expert Podcast. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, to tell a grandparent, to tell an aunt, to share it with a cousin, to review it with best friends and family. Because if you do not, I will fight you in real life. With all that being said, it's the end of today's episode. Until next time.